Greetings everyone, and come back again after a break due to a very busy schedule. So today, hopefully within this short video, we will go deeper through answering and getting the stress orientation from the Dipole sonic log. Before starting, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your colleagues or with your friends if you found it helpful. Before starting to talking about our subject today, here just a few description about me for those who don't know me or for those who don't know my area expertise, and of course for those who want to send requests for classification or information or even networking via LinkedIn or YouTube. So first of all, we will try to answer a common question. So what if your manager asks you to build a full geomechanical model including the stress orientation, and you don't have images logs such as FMI or the UBI? Sometimes we face this problem or this problematic or this issue. Before answer the question, I think that it will be better if we can understand the sonic tool design for this tool and how it works. It will help us to get the answer later on and know what it can give. So the sonic tool is among the wireline tools in the market. It is a low tool that can measure the travel time transmitted by the acoustic waves within the formation. So here we have in the middle the monopole design, or call it the conventional sonic log. So it generates compressional wave and measure the travel time. In sometimes we can also infer the shear wave data from this monopole. However, in these figures, we see the dipole tool, which has a different set, with a dipole transmitter, those green one, and also a dipole receivers, this set of receivers, and also a monopole transmitters. As you can see here in these figures, both transmitter and also the receiver are orthogonal. So to capture why they are orthogonal, so to can capture the anisotropy. When the images logs are unavailable in your hand, so we can rely on the dipole sonic to estimate the stress orientation using the phenomenon which is called shear wave splitting due to anisotropy. This is the splitting from the shear wave due to anisotropy. So here how it works. This dipole source, this dipole sonic tool will generate shear waves into perpendicular direction, this black arrow. When these waves arrive to the formation, so through this anisotropic row, it will caused by this anisotropic formation or differential stresses. They split into two components. The fast and slow shear. So the fast shear wave align with the maximum horizontal stress direction, and a slow shear waves aligns with the minimum horizontal stress direction. So by analyzing the arrival time differences, and the polarization between these two waves, we can estimate the stress orientation. But before interpreting these shear wave dispersion curves, it is essential to validate some criteria or few K quality control to be validated to ensure that the data is suitable for stress orientation analysis. The first criterion which should be validated is the SLOANI, or the slowness anisotropy. The slowness anisotropy is an index of the quantity or to quantify the degree of the shear wave anisotropy. In different meaning, this differential means that the fast and the shear waves are not in the same direction. And this SLOANI should be also calculated only within intervals that exhibit anisotropic behavior. I remember that someone asked me this question should we calculate or estimate the SLOANI within all the well bore or only within the interval of anisotropy? So the SLOANI should be calculated only within the anisotropy interval. The value of the SLOANI should be exceed 44%, which indicates sufficient shear wave splitting and give the confidence to our interpretation of the stress. The second criterion or the second point is the ovality of the borehole. So the borehole ovality should be also less than 10%. If we have excessive borehole ovality, it can distort the waveform and lead to inaccurate measurements or inaccurate data. So keeping this value always under 10% will ensure more reliable data. So the shear wave polarization should be also independent of the tool orientation. This also confirms that your observed anisotropy is due to formation properties, so stress-aligned fracture rather than the tool misalignment or the poor centralization. So here, when we have shear wave polarization independent of the tool orientation, it gives us assurance that this polarization is not due to the tool itself. So if we can meet all those conditions, we ensure that the estimated azimuth of maximum horizontal stress is robust and geologically meaningful. But the question is, after confirming the existence of anisotropy, so is it enough to get the maximum horizontal stress direction or no? So we have now checked that there is two kinds of anisotropy. So there is anisotropy due to the rock itself, which is due to the structure of the rock, and also there is the second kind of anisotropy, which is stress-induced anisotropy. We have to check either this anisotropy is due to intrinsic anisotropy form or it is stress-induced anisotropy. So either intrinsic or stress-induced anisotropy. To be able to determine the stress orientation from sonic data, the anisotropy should be stress-induced. Why? Because if the anisotropy is stress-induced, mean that is the dispersion increases with a lower frequency, means that this stress is frequency dependence. But if this anisotropy is due to intrinsic anisotropy, means that relatively don't related to frequencies, and also it will be based only on structure, so there is no contrast of stress within the wellbore. So the orientation of the stress cannot be inferred from an intrinsic anisotropy. So what else means that now we can differentiate between those two kinds of anisotropy by what? By analyzing the dispersion plot analysis. What does that mean, the dispersion plot analysis? Means that we will analyze the dispersion frequencies of the slowness for the slow and shear waves within the two kinds of anisotropic. How we can differentiate between those kinds of anisotropy? Only by dispersion plot analysis. As you know, when the shear waves arrive to the formation and face an anisotropic medium, so it will be split into two waves, slow and fast waves. So on the follow the fast, the one will follow the fast direction, and the other one will follow the slower direction, which is logic. However, in the stress-induced anisotropy, so when the wave across stress-induced anisotropy medium, the anisotropy is caused by the stress, not by the rock itself. So it will be split into two waves, like the first one. However, we will observe a new phenomenon, which is the crossover between the fast and the slow shear waves. Why we have this crossover? So this crossover is due to stress-induced anisotropy or contrast within the wellbore. The question that everyone can ask is, how come that we have a crossover or the fast shear become less than the slow shear near the wellbore? So as you remember within the design of the dipole sonic tool, we see that the dipole sonic tool emits two kind of waves within orthogonal direction from the x and y. So when the wave arrives to the formation and face an anisotropic medium due to the stress induced, so the fast shear will follow the fast direction and the slow will follow the slow direction. However, due to the anisotropy, so the tool is a machine. So if, for example, the fast shear waves will follow the x direction, and when it arrives to this stress-induced medium near the wellbore, so it will change the direction due to stress concentration. But for example, the X receiver will continue to receive within the X direction, and within this X direction, the slow shear will split. So within 90 degrees, so the slow shear will take the place of the X receiver. Sorry, that's why we see this phenomenon, and we observe that the fast is lower than the shear. In reality, the fast is the fast and slow is slow. But what changed is the anisotropy due to stress induced. So the receivers will change the waves. So if the X was receiving the fast shear, now it will receive the slow shear and vice versa. So that's why, to conclude, so if your anisotropy is due to stress, you can infer the maximum horizontal stress. Why? Because your orientation or your azimuth is related or radial dependence within the wellbore. So also the frequency dependence of the induced anisotropy, it is frequency dependence. However, the intrinsic anisotropy no, because it is related only to the rock itself and based on structure. The only criterion can allow you to infer the stress orientation is your stress is due to your anisotropy is due to stress-induced anisotropy. I think that that's all for today. If you have more question, you can text me or send email. Thank you very much, and see you in next short video, and enjoy all the other videos within the YouTube channel. So thank you.